All right, let's talk about something we all have to do every single day: make choices. Today, we are going to dive into a framework that can literally transform how you make decisions, helping you go from feeling stuck to feeling confident.
You know that feeling, right? You're facing a really big, important choice and you just feel frozen, completely stuck, maybe even a little overwhelmed, not knowing which path to take. We have all been there.
And this really gets to the heart of what we're talking about today. The secret to making better decisions isn't about being faster or smarter. It's about getting clear. It's about taking a breath, slowing down, and making sure the choice you're about to make actually lines up with what you want in life.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to figure out what a good decision even is. Then we'll walk through a three-phase process: setting up your foundation, digging into your options, and then actually making the call. And we'll wrap up with the final super important step for getting better every time: looking back and reflecting.
Okay, so first things first. What are we even aiming for here? What's the difference between a good decision and a bad one? Well, it's all about shifting from that feeling of hesitation or just going with your gut to making choices with genuine confidence.
And here's maybe the most important idea to grab onto. Making good decisions isn't some kind of magic talent you're born with. It's a skill. And you know what? Like any other skill, you can learn it. It all comes down to looking at your options with a clear head, using real information, and having a deep understanding of what truly matters to you. Which brings us right into phase one: building your foundation. Think of this as the essential prep work. This is everything you need to do before you even start thinking about the pros and cons of your choices.
And this foundation rests on three main pillars. First, you've got to define the decision you're making clearly. Second, you have to know your priorities. And third, you need to get your hands on some accurate info. If you can nail these three steps, you avoid making a choice in the dark. Now, it's kind of funny how often we just skip this first step, isn't it? Before you can ever find the right answer, you have to be asking the right question. So get specific. What is the exact problem you're trying to solve, and why is it so important to you right now?
Next up, priorities. And this is a big one. A truly good decision is going to line up with your core values, what you believe in. It's not based on what your friends, family, or society think you should do, and it's definitely not about just picking whatever seems easiest at the moment. And the last part of building that solid base is gathering your information. Your goal here is to be a detective, right? You want to rely on cold, hard facts and data. You have to actively try to avoid making choices based on things you just assume to be true or on a wave of pure emotion. So, with that solid foundation in place, we are ready to move on to phase two: analyzing your options. This is where we roll up our sleeves and do the real analytical work. This phase is all about the tools of the trade. We're going to look at how to lay out all your options, how to use that classic pros and cons list, why you need to think about the long term, and the huge value of getting an outside opinion. Okay, the pros and cons list. I know, it might feel a little old school, but its real power is in making things visual. When you actually write down the good stuff right next to the risks, you force your brain to look at the trade-offs head on. It takes all that jumbled mess out of your head and puts it right there on the page. And this is huge. It is so easy to get caught up in the immediate feeling of a decision, the instant reward or the instant pain. But great decision makers, they think on different timelines. What's this going to look like in a month? What about a year from now? And the real kicker, 5 years down the road, is this choice still going to make sense with my biggest goals? Look, no matter how smart you are or how much research you do, you will always have blind spots. We all do. That's why getting input from people you trust is so incredibly valuable. It's not about letting them choose for you. It's about using their eyes to see the things you might have completely missed. Okay, you've built your foundation, you've done the analysis. Now comes the moment of truth. Phase 3, making the call. This is where you pick a path and commit to it. One of the biggest obstacles right here is emotion. Your feelings can be loud, right? Whether it's excitement or fear, they can really shout at you. The key is to pause. Acknowledge those feelings for sure, but let your choice be guided by the logical, rational work you've already put in. And if you want to avoid that awful feeling of analysis paralysis, where you just think and never act, give yourself a deadline. Seriously, setting a firm date forces you to make a choice. It stops the endless second guessing, and it helps you start moving forward. But wait, we're not quite done. The process doesn't end when the choice is made. There's one final step that really separates the good decision makers from the great ones. You always have to reflect. This is how you turn every single outcome, good or bad, into a lesson.
And this whole reflection process is actually super simple. After some time has passed, you just ask yourself 3 little questions. In my process, what worked? What didn't work so well? And what am I going to do differently the next time I have a big choice to make? That's the feedback loop that makes you better and better over time. So if you take just one thing away from all of this, let it be this. Making better decisions isn't about being lucky. It is a practical, learnable skill. And just like shooting a basketball or learning an instrument, you get better at it with conscious, deliberate practice. So to help you put this all into action, I'm going to leave you with one final thought. Based on everything we just talked about, what's one choice, could be big, could be small, that you're going to approach just a little bit differently this week?